Hi, welcome to Tamira's Throne Room. My name is Tamira, and today I'm not giving a prophetic word. This is actually a comment that I got in my YouTube feed. So I'm going to respond to this comment. And what I want you to know about comments is I don't always respond to comments because this channel is actually for basically to help you know how to communicate with God or learn how God communicates with you so you can grow in relationship with God. But there are some comments that God will lead me to respond to, and so this was one of them. And so the comment was a question, okay? And so the question was, why is God keeping me in this position of being abused and scapegoated? And so I want to first say, God does not create scapegoats, okay? God creates ways of escape. All right, so the definition of a scapegoat is a person who is blamed for the wrongdoings, mistakes, or faults of others. This includes the sins of others, okay? And so this can mean that people are unwilling to face their own dysfunctions, their own toxicity, their own mistakes, and so they project it onto you as if you are the reason or to blame for what they have said or done, to make it seem like it's your fault when it's really a cover-up or something that they are having trouble facing within themselves, okay? And so this doesn't necessarily make these people bad people, but you have to know when a problem is yours and when it's not, or you will literally make yourself sick trying to please other people. Okay, so if people don't face their own problems, mistakes, issues, and dysfunctional cycles, then nothing changes, right? So you have to decide if you are going, sorry, my thing messed up. So you have to decide if you're going to be the change, all right? But you cannot let what other people say, think, or blame you for be what determines your heart posture or good character or even how you see God. Okay? People are not God. So if you do allow this to change your heart, it makes it so that God cannot use you the way he wants. And this is what the enemy wants as well. Okay? He wants you to give up. He wants you to say, "Well, God is doing this to me, and so that's why." No. God is not. Okay? So God is a revealer of truths, which means he exposes lies. Okay, so Satan is the father of lies, which means he uses whomever is willing in a moment to feed you lies. And to them, it may not seem like, they're being used, obviously. You don't always know it. But your mindset, the way you think, how you grew up, causes you maybe to respond to people in a certain way that is a lie. When you hear these things being said to you, when you hear people blaming you for things, when you hear them trying to guilt trip you, he says them so that you don't see that you are a way of escape, that you are a problem solver in this situation, that you are supposed to somehow, in some way, whichever way God leads you to, not make this a cycle with where God is taking you, okay? And so, again, this does not mean your family is possessed. So please don't kill them. But possibly, dysfunctional, in denial, which is easy to use against you because when you are dysfunctional, you are more prone to respond dysfunctionally. Okay? In many cases, this is seen in families that ignore issues that should be dealt with in a healthy way. And so I personally grew up in a dysfunctional family. And so I understand. But it does not mean I don't love my family. But also understanding that they are dysfunctional in some ways doesn't mean that I'm selfish for not wanting to stay in that dysfunction. Okay? And so God wants you to know you may be being scapegoated, but you are not the scapegoat. Okay? See the difference? So stop identifying with what that word carries, because that's not what God created you for, okay? In other words, how people see you is not always how God sees you. And so when you are in a position where you are being scapegoated, you have to make a decision. And so I'm going to use myself for example. In in this season of my life, I've had to stand up for myself. And God literally told me, if you cannot do this, you cannot lead. You cannot move on to the next level. There's no way. Okay? And so I have had family, not friends, come onto my social media pages and cuss me out. And these are people that I've just prayed for, okay? I've been praying for, that have known I've prayed for them. Okay? I've had people tell me everybody hates me, called me the B word, said F you, all right, based on assumptions that I did not tell them personally, but they decided to believe in a group, okay? I've been in family chats where I've been insulted randomly, in which I had to choose to leave. Did people stick up for me in that moment? No. Does this mean they owe me that? No. But at some point, you got to make the decision, you know, to stand up for yourself, even if others don't. There's a way to stand up for yourself, though, without being disrespectful or, you know, dishonoring people, even if they have dishonored you. For example, a simple "I will be respectful and I love you, but I will not stick around to be disrespected" is one way to go about that. Okay? So you don't need to curse back at people. You don't need to go back and forth with people. You are stating, I've made a decision. And if telling someone not to disrespect you destroys them, you have to understand the difference between your issue and their issue, even when they don't, okay? So again, you might be being scapegoated, but you are not the scapegoat, okay? So more than likely, God is trying to show you that you are a way of escape, all right? When you are a way of escape, you become a threat to the enemy. When you are a way of escape, you may see a problem and be willing to acknowledge it when everybody else isn't, okay? And so you have the ability to solve that problem or stop dysfunctional cycles, which the enemy doesn't want, right? So you cannot make other people face their own dysfunctions, no matter how much you want them to, you know, acknowledge them. They have to want to get better themselves. They have to want to take responsibility for what their own actions and words are. They have to want to acknowledge and fix and not ignore the problems within themselves so they can stop repeating cycles. Because someone has to do it, right? Otherwise, it doesn't stop. So again, I'm going to say it again, you are not a scapegoat. You are a way of escape. And you have to be willing to keep your heart from hating others and keep your character in check. Because where God is going to take you, he needs to know that he can trust you with people. And some of those people will hurt you, okay? But can you keep praying for people who have done you wrong? Can you respect yourself enough to know that leaving people in their mess doesn't mean you don't care about them or that you are selfish or a bad person? But do they want to get well or not? Okay? Do you want to get well? Can you forgive those who hurt you, or will you choose to hold grudges? And so you end up staying stuck to a past situation that can do nothing for your future, which holds you back. Offenses hold you back from being released into your purpose, into being released to where God wants you to go next, because you're stuck in past. Once someone does something to you, they can't take it back, so you might as well forgive them, okay? Are you strong enough for that? Because there's gonna be way more that you may witness in your life where people hurt you. And are you gonna be strong enough where you're not like, I'm gonna give up, I just quit? Can you take rejection and not allow it to become your identity? Okay, that is something that I've struggled with so much. And so you have to learn that even if people reject you, not everybody is rejecting you. And those who do reject you, that is their issue. All right? because what God is looking for is that type of character, the type of character that can forgive, the type of character that can keep going despite what everybody says to them, the type of character that focuses on God, despite what other people are saying about them. Okay? Are you strong enough? Because where God is going to take you, he has to make sure you are strong enough. And no matter who the enemy uses against you, are you strong enough to remain in good character? Okay. Doesn't mean you'll never, mess up, but at least you're trying. So Genesis chapter 18 through chapter 19 talks about how Abraham, a man of many nations, intercedes. So he's praying for his family member who were in a city where God was saying he's going to destroy the city. And Abraham was basically like, God, don't destroy my family over there. I know, they may not be doing all the right things, but as my friend, as a covenant that you made with me, don't destroy my family. And God not only said he wouldn't destroy his family, but he said that if there was one person in that city that he wouldn't destroy it. If there was one person in that city that was not evil, he would not destroy it. Okay? And so God sent angels to guard or protect Abraham's family, to actually bring them out of that city, to save them, because it was going to be destroyed, because God couldn't find not one person in that city that wasn't evil. Okay? So God honored Abraham's request. Abraham was a way of escape for his family. All right? Even if they didn't realize it, even if they didn't know, even if they rejected him, he was the way of escape. Okay? Some of those connected to Abraham's family laughed at who was sent to help them. Okay? And they stayed and were destroyed in that city because they didn't believe. All right? Lot's wife, which is, I believe it's Abraham's nephew, Lot's wife looked back at the city being destroyed and turned into a pillar of salt. So metaphorically speaking, because she was comfortable in her own dysfunction, she looked back to go back to what was dysfunctional. You can't make people, you can't drag them with you. They have to want to change. So those who were lost did not have to be lost, because Abraham was the way of escape. Okay, those who were not afraid to leave something old, for example, an old mindset, to face a new mindset, survived. All right, it may hurt to have to make a decision like that, where you have to tell family, friends, partners, whoever it is, I'm not going to be the scapegoat. I'm not going to take the blame or the guilt. I'm not cool sticking around to be disrespected. They have to decide just like you have to decide, okay? But you have to make sure you survive, or there will be people who don't escape because you got stuck believing you were a scapegoat when you were breakthrough hidden amongst the blame, all right? So for the things you cannot change, give them to God and ask God, how do you move forward in the process? Ask God to protect your family. Ask God to protect those who hurt you, to help those who hurt you, to open their eyes, all right, to the truth. But other than that, give what you can't change to God and keep it moving, all right? So I hope this helped you. Peace, worlds.